Lions GM Brad Holmes addresses the media on the decision to trade TJ Hockenson during yesterday's trade deadline. This comes from this video comes from WoodwardSports.com.
First of all, I want to publicly express my appreciation for everything that TJ did for us. He's a good, productive football player for us, and we had a great relationship since I've been here. And wish him all the best. Besides when we're playing him going forward, but he was a good player for us. And all the moves that we make really is. They're well thought out. It's strictly the best interest of the football team, and that is it. Nothing's impulse, nothing is knee jerk, and we're really well thought out, well planned, and we strive to be the best we can, and as adept as possible with all the tough decisions that we had to make for the present and future of our football team, and I do think that this move was reflective of that.
All right, so that was your GM. Brad Holmes. Now, the reason I brought up me talking earlier that I can talk is because I could do 2 hours by myself, like real talk. No segments, no nothing. But the plan is to get there. I'll be eventually appearing on camera, but that's a different subject for a different time. Okay. Now, listen. Yesterday, I was very hard on this man. I was very hard on Dan Campbell. And I will not change my position on that. But this here lets you know that kind of what I said was true, right? Now, in the NFL, you don't know how long a player or a regime really has, right? Do you know when Matt Patricia was here, what I heard was, well, they gave him 5 years. Well, they fired him after 2.5. They're currently still paying him, okay? Will the moves that they're making now save this regime? Are they in need of saving? Okay. This told me that by him saying it was calculated, shout out to Mr. Poole, because we talked about this to start the show when we brought up TJ Hockenson, that this was not an impulsive move, which means that they have planned ahead and they planned for this when they drafted James Mitchell. If you have a tight end like TJ Hockenson, you have Zane Zelstra, you have Brock Wright on the roster, and you take a tight end who's hurt in the the 5th round. The reason I brought up he was hurt because he's going to need some recovery time. But now I think they played a dangerous game. They played a dangerous game because TJ could have been hurt and he wouldn't have gone anywhere. Or if he did, we weren't going to get nearly what we got for him, which some of y'all believe was a steal. That's your opinion, right? This tells me that it's a calculated decision. Now, I'm conflicted here. Because at the end of the day, this comes down to wins, correct? We can all agree. You can think out decisions, you can do this, you can do that, but it comes down to wins. Is this move going to help the Detroit Lions win? We discussed yesterday that nobody, and I do mean nobody, is going to say we're in year 3 of a rebuild. Nobody's going to say that, right? Who's going to say because how long do rebuilds take? Even if you had to tear it down. Okay? So our expectations for year 3 have to be higher than they are now. Because if these guys are as calculated and as thought out as they say they are, this move was not an impulsive decision. That means they have something up their sleeve. Now, some believe that we talked about it yesterday, that the Detroit Lions are now going to trade back up to the 1st round, and they're going to take 3 players. They're going to take 3 players in the 1st round. That's what all of this was about, 3 players in the 1st round. Now, if you look at the Detroit Lions draft capital for 2024, it went down, okay, based on giving Minnesota Vikings a conditional 4th round pick. We're either not going to have a 4th or 5th that we're going to give to them. Like, where has he made mistakes, says Josiah. Okay. Josiah, if you look at his second round picks right now, okay, in addition to that, Jameson Williams, to me, made me feel his trade. Y'all remember how I was if you watched Detroit Lions Syndicate. I was livid. I was livid because I'm like, bro, we could have used that on defense. Our offense was number one in the league without Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams is a luxury pick right now. Those aren't my words. Those are the stats. We put up 27 points without Jameson Williams. 45 points without Jameson Williams. Now, we did have TJ Hockenson. So now Brock Wright has to fill that middle, him and Amon-Ra. So my thing, and I begin this segment by saying, I still think they need to win. They need to win. Right? Last year, we knew we were going to be a dumpster fire. ESPN, CBS Sports, NFL.com all had us 3-14. That's what they had us. This year, NFL.com, ESPN, NFL, all of them, CBS Sports had us at 6-11. We have jumped by 100%. In 2023, trading away TJ Hockenson, calculated move by Brad Holmes, where do you see the Detroit Lions? The more calculated his moves are, in my opinion, the less time he has. To me, I don't know what Sheila's doing, but to me as a fan, if your moves are so calculated, you're telling me that you're not MacGyvering this stuff, that's good to know. That means you have a plan, right? That means that you have a plan, and that means that year 3 was always the year. Do you think we can agree on that? That year 3 was always the year. Because it appears as though when they came into the season, he was not going to re-sign TJ Hockenson, as we discussed when we first started this. Nate says he put himself on the clock today. Dave says sounds like Brad is getting a quarterback in the draft. They did say a 3-year rebuild. Clearly, he's playing the long game. Now, my retort, as y'all can see, that's like my favorite word. My retort to that is, in the NFL, you don't know how long you have. And one thing that I hope is that if my owner values her fans and the fans of this team that has been in the poverty since I've been alive, said, except for Barry Sanders, we've been in the cellar. She has to be anything less than contending, to me, is failure in year 3. Anything less than, so Jake says, what do you think we do with the first and 2 second picks next year? Well, yeah, we got 2 first and 2 seconds. If you let speculation tell it, Mr. Phipps, we are trading back up to get someone else in the third round, in the first round. And if they do that, and like you said, Nate said it the best. He said he put himself on the clock today. Think about this, y'all, which means that they are already calculating what they're going to do next year. Now, we will end on this because this stuff get good, bro. And like I said, phone line's going to be coming. Eventually, I'm going to be on camera.